Welcome, everyone. I'm very excited to have you all here. I do these quarterly user group meetings. I try to have them once a quarter. Sometimes we get off track, and right now it's the end of the summer, or actually the beginning of the school year for some people. So we have a light attendance, but I'm recording it so that anybody who wants to see what's new and get some tips and tricks can access it in the future. Um, so let me get started. I'm just gonna. All right. Again, so welcome to the Dig Your Photos user group meeting. I'm Rhoda Gordon. I am the founder and creator and innovator of Dig Your Photos. And in case you do not have not read the origin story of it, I encourage you to read the origin story, which is on the website Dig Your Photos, because as a certified photo manager, I help clients every day with their print and digital photos, and I was struggling with trying to help people with their own photos themselves, the DIYers, as well as anyone who um, really doesn't have access to a photo manager and wants to have their photos scanned. Dig Your Photos really sets them up for success as far as saving money and time once they do have their digital photos scanned. So check it out. Um, this picture just shows somebody after their photos are scanned, sharing maybe with a child or a brother or a sibling, photos that they had digitized in a photo album. All right, what's the agenda for today? First, we're going to do a welcome. I'm going to do some check-ins and see if anybody has some wins with their photos. That would be great. In addition to that, if anybody wants to do a show and share of their progress or something that they learned while they were organizing their print photos, I'm happy to um, really take a look, happy to share that and understand where people are in their photo journey. And then we'll talk a little bit about the kit and how you can make it work for you. We're going to focus on the sort cards today. So we'll be chatting about that. Then the tip of the month is really how to, if you only have 15, 20 minutes, what can you accomplish with your photos? And then questions and answers. And a summer offer, which is big, big news. So stay tuned. Um, if you want to put your name and where you're from in the chat, and maybe one fun fact that you or reason that you love photos, I'd love to hear it. And I'll read them. So let me. Kathy's from Indiana, and she enjoys looking at the old photos and the changes over time. Yeah, just looking at the old photos, doesn't it bring up some, well, I would say amazing memories and sometimes not so amazing memories, but they're still important to experience over again. And I just love, I've said this before, just being able to feel a photo and it brings you back in time, just looking at it and feeling it and touching it in your hands and sharing it with someone. Mary Pat said that she has one photo from her first communion and a little boy in the photo with my grandmother and me, and no one knows who it is. That's interesting. Um, Could be a neighbor. It could be somebody that you could have just been the person you walked down the aisle with, right? Your partner. And maybe you didn't really even know him, but I guess you'll never know. Or maybe it'll come to you one day. Yeah, one day you'll find out. Um, all right. Thank you for sharing. So, anybody want to tell me or want to share? You don't have to, but you can come off mic if you want to say where you are in your progress of organizing your photos. And it's totally okay to say, I really haven't started it yet, but it's on my list because, our lists get full and things fall to the bottom, and more important, urgent things go to the top, right? So, anyone, you can come off mute if you would like to. Yeah, yeah. Life got in the way for Mary Pat. She is helping to raise one of her grandchildren, and that really should take priority, I guess, and will take a lot of your time. What I would suggest is just get out some old photos and see how he reacts to them. I bet that would be a nice bonding experience. You don't have to organize them, but just share your story. Um, because we all think that everybody knows what our life was like, but it turns out that most people don't, especially our relatives. So I've gotten some questions about the sorting cards over the past quarter, and I just wanted to do an overview of what they're used for, how you can use them, and in particular, how the bronze is used, and it's your choice. So the sort cards are really meant to help you quickly, and this is your initial after you've gathered whatever you want to organize. The sort cards are meant to quickly help you pare down your collection, right? So I don't expect you to be spending a lot of time deciding what pile it's in. So the gold is for, the best of the best photos, the ones that you're going to be accessing if you need to do a project or create something for a special occasion or even for a memorial. And so those are the ones you want to be able to access quickly and know where they are. The silver pile are photos that are very important to keep, and they're important to really tell your story, the most pertinent ones to tell your story, but you're not going to be accessing them on a weekly or monthly basis. Maybe once or twice a year when you have friends and family over and somebody says, "Oh, remember that trip we took to the Grand Canyon? Do you have any pictures from it?" Then you will go to that silver pile and when you went to the Grand Canyon to look at those pictures. But they don't need to be, foremost in a premier place. The bronze card is really for the photos that don't necessarily belong in the gold pile. They're not great photos. They don't necessarily belong in the silver pile, but they have a story attached to it. And some examples would be maybe it's a blurry photo of you and your grandmother cooking in her kitchen, but you really haven't seen that wallpaper that's in the background for years and years and years. But you spent so many Saturdays or so many times during the summer in that kitchen, that wallpaper is near and dear to you. And it's probably the only picture that has it, right? So that would be a picture that you would save and you would jot down that story. And then trash is everything else. Any photos that are duplicates, blurry scenery photos, photos that have no people in them. And again, as I always tell people, silver and trash will be your largest pile. Now, the thing about the bronze is that it's your choice if you really want to have a bronze pile, because many of your story photos would probably be in the gold. They're probably really good photos. And if it's not, you could just kind of put them off to the side and create a little storyboard of little stories that you can share with your family on those ones that aren't great, but you want to attach a story to. So I know a lot of users do get hung up on what belongs in bronze, and it really trips them up as far as moving forward. But there's no right or wrong way to organize your own photos. It's your choice, and it's the way that makes you move forward and feels comfortable for you. So if you just want to organize with gold, silver, and trash, that is perfectly fine. And again, it's supposed to be quick. So I don't expect you to look at the photo for more than 2 seconds to know whether it belongs in gold, silver, or trash. Like if you know your photos and it's your collection, maybe not one that you inherited, you will know instinctively whether it's a photo you want to access much more quickly than another photo. So we don't need to really spend our brain cycles on it. It's not rocket science, it's instinct, and it's really a tool to help you quickly pare out your collection, but also kind of um, move you along in telling the story of those photos or the story of your life if they're your photos, or your family's life if it's all together. So I hope, that helps with understanding how the sorting cards should be used. And again, I give you permission not to use the bronze if you don't want to. And how the saying goes, better done than perfect. So you can move quickly through it. And the trash pile, you don't have to throw it out. You could just put it somewhere for a little while. If you're afraid you might have put something in the trash pile that you might want to access later, just put it in a basket and put it out of sight. And if you haven't touched it in a year or 6 months, then you can throw it out. So all of this is really meant to help you move forward in organizing your photos and not get stuck in the detail. If there's any questions as I go through this, certainly put them in the chat. All right. So the tip of this quarter is if you only have a short amount of time, like, you know, 15 minutes, set your timer for 15 minutes. And what can you accomplish in 15 minutes? Well, you could sort a handful, probably a stack of 100 photos in 15 minutes. You could sort them into the gold, silver, bronze if you want, and trash. So that's something I would totally suggest doing. If you only have 15 minutes, take one of your stacks, your gold stack, and sort it on the timeline. That also shouldn't take much time. You don't have to do the whole thing. You could just do a small amount. Um, or start filing things that are on your timeline into your sort box. That shouldn't take too much time either. And lastly, if you have 15 minutes, watch one short video from the Dig Your Photos kit, right? And then take action on it. Decide how you're going to move forward. Or even go to my YouTube channel and learn some new things that'll help you also move along, maybe something with your digital photos. So if you only have a few minutes, there's still things you can do so that you can save your story. Slide is to help you get from stalled to started. How to move forward with your photos and organizing them and kind of getting over the messages we are telling ourselves and breaking through that. So I hear all the time, it's too overwhelming. I can't do it. My brain freezes. I'm not really ready to start. Well, if you think about it, the kit really breaks it up into simple, fun steps that can be really enjoyable done, doing it yourself or with another family member or with your friend. So just take one step at a time. You don't have to think about the whole process. And even more importantly, do one photo album at a time or one box at a time. You don't have to think of your whole garage filled with boxes of photos and albums and things like that. Start one step at a time and you'll get there. I also like to say, like, make a date with a friend and you both do it. You know, do it together. Share your Dig Your Photos box and you teach them or you learn it at the same time, just as if you were playing a game of gin rummy. I think that's a great thing. Or you can even start with your neighborhood or your friends or whatever group you're in, a once a month photo club where you organize your photos together instead of a book club. Everybody brings their shoebox and you're all at the same point. And you know what's great about that? How communal it is when you share a photo with someone else. You say, "Oh, look, this is a photo at my wedding." And it's a photo of you in your wedding gown and the groom and your husband. People love to look at that, and it just brings people closer. And there'll be laughter and there'll be tears, but um, I think it's a great idea. So, consider doing something like that because it will help you move forward as well. So, I have big, big news. Big, big news. I have created a digital download of Dig Your Photos for people who want to just dip their toe in and learn the process how to do it and don't really need the tools or the sort box or are not ready for it yet. It's coming soon, probably it'll be available next week. So, very excited to announce that. Share it with your friends and family as far as that it's going to be available. And I have a surprise offer for you. Since you have already purchased Dig Your Photos, um, I am offering you a way to either share it with your friend or buy another one so that you can do that um, photo organizing club. Um, Here is a code for 20% off. I've never had a 20% off code before, so I think I'm very excited. It's valid both on the digital download that'll be available next week, as well as the full Dig Your Photos uh, photo organizing kit. So the code is UG_August. So write that down. Um, it's a great time to start stocking up on gifts for the holidays. Um, and then, you can knock that one person off your list. And I want to thank you for showing up today. Also, I wanted to mention, please follow me on YouTube, subscribe to me. Um, you don't have to have a YouTube account to watch the videos, but they really do give a lot of tips and tricks about your photos, both print and digital. And I usually will do a YouTube based on questions I get. And what I find is questions that I get from one person usually are universal with quite a number of people. So go to youtube.com and slash at dig your photos. And then don't forget to stay connected, reach out for more tips and tricks, and then contact me if you need anything or would like to speak one-on-one. I'm here for you. I want you to be successful. That's really the most important thing. I feel like is one of my callings is to really help people save their story and find just the connections through saving your story. And then, of course, after that, leaving a legacy for the next generation. Um, and since we have a Florida person, I do want to mention that November 5th, I think it is, there is a big legacy event happening in Naples. I know it's probably not that close, but it's close enough. I just want to verify the date. And there'll be all sorts of, nope, it's not, it's the 3rd. Sorry, November 3rd. My friend's birthday is the 5th. That's why I said it. It's November 3rd in Naples, Florida. There'll be a legacy event where there'll be experts from all different areas concerning how to preserve and protect your legacy, both now and in the future. We have someone from Artifacts there. There is an estate lawyer that'll give tips and tricks for free on what you need to be concerned with your estate. Of course, there is really the person organizing it had done a lot in really restoration because of the hurricanes that had hit Naples a few years ago, and then more recently in a little further north. And so there'll be a lot on photo restoration and protecting your photos, and I will be doing a workshop on how to organize your print photos. So there is a lot of great stuff. Um, Oh gosh, Mary Pat, you're doing a brain health study with artifacts. There is so much. They're like at the forefront of really helping with the research artifacts. I know the two founders of artifacts, and
Yeah.
they really are very passionate. It's a great tool for saving and sharing. Artifacts is a tool, it's an app for saving and sharing items that maybe you don't want to save the physical item. It was handed down from a great grandmother. Maybe you have some lace handed down to you and you don't really want to display it anywhere, but there's a story associated with it, and it's an app where you can put all your different artifacts and their story, and also you can actually have a video about it. So if you had your grandmother talking about it, you could add that as well. Yeah. So yeah, so it's going to be at the Naples Hilton. I actually will send out a little blurb about it in case anyone's interested. We did it last year. It was really well attended, and the price point is very low for the full day, and you get lunch. So I think it's under $50 for all that information. There are giveaways. Everybody gets a number of giveaways, and then there's also prizes and lunch included. So it's at the Naples Hilton. Yeah. All right. I want to thank you for joining. If there's not any other questions, I will let you all go. I want to be conscious of your time, and I want to thank you for joining me.